I was fishing on Lake Omak. Then I snagged. It happens. All I have to do is turn around and
Picking up
pull
some
from the other
time.
side. Should come free. Oh, I hooked a
Go back
fish.
and get it.
Now I've got something on both rods. And
Both
then
hands in the water? Nope, one's got a
a
fish.
momentary lapse. A brain fart.
Okay, it's time
And
to
there goes
turn
my
off the
rod.
motor. Shit.
And all I can
Oh,
do
I
is
think I
watch
just
it
left it
sink
by
to the
rod.
bottom.
And it's got a sinking line, so there's no getting that one back. God damn it. There's the fish. Oh, and down a rod. Pretty nice fish. He's wrapping himself up in the leader. There we go. There. Pretty fish. Oh, lost a rod. There he goes. All right. Down to one rod. You just witnessed a tragedy that happened to me last week. It was a brain fart. The real tragedy is none of that would be covered by warranty. $1,100 rod, $400 reel, $130 line, none of it covered because it was a brain fart, a problem on my part. There was no broken rod, there was no deficiency in the equipment. So I happened to be very lucky last week in that I'm a budget fisherman. I've always been a budget fisherman. I started fly fishing when I was 17 and I had no money. So it was always kind of low end equipment for me. I try and find the best low end equipment, but I've never spent a lot of money. And then later, when I had more money, I also had a family and a mortgage. So again, I wasn't willing to spend huge amounts of money on rods and reels that would break the bank or really cause some pain if I happen to lose them and have to replace them. So that rod that went over the side was a Max Catch rod you can find on Amazon. It was $66. It cast great. It was finished great. Had a dual a machined reel seat with dual locking nuts. It was a fine rod. I had a, it was the only thing I didn't like about it was the color. It was like New York Jets green. So other than that, it was a very good rod. The reel was a $50 reel, and the line, it was a sinking line, was about $35. So I was out less than $160 on the whole thing. And that's something I call an idiot warranty. And the benefit of it is, okay, as I said, no warranty would have saved me last week if I had top end equipment. Um, if I had broken a rod, the way that works is you usually have to send the rod into the manufacturer, and the manufacturer either repairs it or sends you a replacement, and you're without a rod for weeks. My idiot warranty, the way that works is because it's so inexpensive, you can go to Sportsman's Warehouse, Cabela's, Amazon, and replace your equipment in a matter of days. So, and not only that, but I just described a setup that would have cost me easily $1,600 if it were a Sage rod or a Winston or a Scott, and the reel were a Galvan or a Ross reel. With the equipment that I fish, I can replace it 10 or 11 times before I start running into the cost of one outfit with big name brands. So I also wanted to show you here, this is what I replaced that missing rod with. I've already, it's literally about 5 days later, and I've already got a new rod. I've got a reel here, line, everything set up. The rod is a Redington Path, and it cost me $59. And I'm already loving this thing. It's finished well. It's got a wood insert, a machined down up locking reel seat with dual knurled locking nuts. Um, the finish is nice too. They have a nice feature here where there's kind of a light greenish yellow um, trim that's that goes along with this brown. And what they've done on the wraps is they have wraps at the joints, and the wraps at the joints have that highlight yellow green color, so you know where the joints are. Up here again, it's a four-piece rod. I almost always buy four-piece rods because they're so easy to travel with and to pack up. And back when I first started fly fishing, um, joints were the weak spot in a rod, and not just structurally, and quite often they were a structural weakness, but because it took a lot of skill to be able to put in a joint, a ferrule in a rod and maintain a smooth action. Okay, when you put in four back in those days, you usually had a rod that was lousy to cast. Well, these days they've kind of worked all that out, and a four-piece rod casts as well as a two-piece rod. So I kind of gotten over that stigma, and now I only buy four-piece rods. Um, and as I said, this one's $59. You can there. If, I would say if you're looking for a low-cost rod, Cabela's has about 3 or 4 models that are under $100. Redington has a model that's that's like I said, $59. You can look online. Max Catch has several rods. One of my favorite rods is a Max Catch 11 and a half foot 3 weight. I love that thing. Uh, I cast a 4 weight on it because it's stiff enough that it casts a 4 weight great. Um, the other part of it is because of the length, it's got enough butt in it that it can handle a 10-pound trout, um, but it also has enough flexibility in the tip that you don't have to worry about busting your tippet. You get more shock absorption from it. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that what looked like a tragedy actually wasn't too bad. I wish it hadn't happened, but it did. Those things do kind of happen. If you fish enough, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to accidentally not pack a rod up as you're getting ready to leave a place, and you'll lose it, or it'll fall off your boat, or these things just happen. Stuff that's not covered by a warranty. By the way, this $59 rod has a warranty. Anyway, you don't have to spend $1,100 on a fly rod to have a good time. And as a matter of fact, you can kind of be freed when you buy a rod like this. It's a beautifully performing rod, but you don't have to fear that it breaks or that you have to be super, super careful, or, it's just, I'm not saying beat the hell out of it, but um, by the same token, it's not a piece of ancient earthenware, so I don't have to handle it with kit gloves. Anyway, just my 2 cents. Check out budget fishing. Think about budget fishing. Next time you buy a rod or you're looking for a rod, maybe search for options that are less expensive. You're going to be surprised by how well they perform and how well they're finished. Um, and some of them actually come with warranties. So, I mean, there's no reason to put a strain on your budget and feel guilty about your fly fishing. This is one more thing to help take some of that guilt away and to kind of free you up a little bit. Happy fishing, everyone.